Hey everyone! Today's hair was inspired by Antiope from the new WonderWoman film. While I can't really show you how to make your own crown for this, I can teach you how to build a braid that's pretty reminiscent of the one the actress wears in the movie. I really loved this character, and since Robin Wright is a blonde like me, I just had to give this one a go. I started my style on clean, straight, untangled hair with a middle parting. My first real section will start at the temples and sweep all the way back to the crown to form a horseshoe or U-shaped divide. I recommend making this as even as you can because if the lines are off, it'll show through at the end and your braid may appear uneven. My next two partings were vertical lines on both sides of my head, and they began at the top of the horseshoe and extended to slightly behind my ear. For now, I'll be using two small elastics to tie them into little ponytails, and that's just so they won't interfere with my braiding. At this point, I've unclipped my U-shaped parting and I've used a combination of my fingers and a comb to split it into two pieces. That front half, the portion near my face, will be used to create the poof at the start of the braid, and the back half just gets blended into the rest of my loose hair. Now there are two small micro braids on either side of the front piece, so here I'm using my comb to slice off those bits of hair. I'll be using a Dutch braiding pattern on these, and since they're such tiny braids, I've chosen to micro crimp them first, and that's just so the finished accents will appear a smidge more noticeable. As always, I'll have my Braidtionary video linked in the underbar should you need some additional references. When I was finished with that step, I went ahead and used the crimper on the rest of my hair in the back. Moving along now, you can see that I'm picking up pieces of hair from that front half of the horseshoe and putting in a gentle tease. I'm using a comb and my favorite backcombing powder from Aveda's Pure Abundance line. I'll have my tutorial for this technique in the description under the video just in case you're interested in learning how to do this. But if you're uncomfortable with this step, I bet you could use some sort of hair insert, or you could simply slick it back. Now, I should have done this before the tease, but I got kind of thrown off when my phone unexpectedly rang during filming. The two accent braids are secured with a third elastic under that hair there, and I think you can see how it would have been easier to do this before I'd backcombed. Nevertheless, they've got to be pulled back and tied together before moving on to the larger braid. Just like with the WonderWoman Infinity braid that I filmed, I thought it might be easier for me to explain on a mannequin, that way you guys can really see what it is that I'm doing. I've got it set up in the exact way with the tease at the crown, the accents tied, and the two pieces on the sides of the head clipped off. The style starts right at the poof, and here I'm just giving it a slight twist and splitting into two halves. Starting on the right, I'm gathering some hair, and just like with a regular fishtail braid, it's going to be crossed over to join the left strand. But since this is a Dutch fishtail, everything will be folded under as opposed to over because that's how the pop-up effect will be created. And it's the same with the hair that's being brought in from the left. It's crossed under and joined to the right strand. But here's where it changes for a stitch. Before adding in more hair, I'm moving back to the right side, splitting off a small bit from that strand and patching it under and into the left half. Then a snippet is taken from the left strand and brought under to the right. And then it's back to the original pattern, which is add loose hair from the right, cross it under and add it to the left, at which point you bring in a portion from the left and pass it under to the right. And then like before, you go back to the right and pass a piece from that strand under to the left, and then a bit from the left under to the right. Oh my goodness. The rotation in the braid arrangement helps to not only form it a little bit more rapidly, but it also secures it to the head. I find that when I've done this braid without that little interlude in between, it takes forever and it slips out of place rather quickly. So personally, I found that it's helpful to move back and forth with these steps when working with this braid. When you get to the round at the back of the head, it's time to add in those vertical panels. The easiest way to do this is to mark the two fishtail strands out with some style clips, and when that's done, you can use a comb and hairspray to pull them back on either side. It gets secured together with a small elastic, at which point you just continue to braid. Since there's no hair on the sides to add in here, I'm just going with the Dutch pattern, folding pieces of hair under and into their opposite sides. Once you get a little lower on the head, you'll find that you'll have to convert back to that Dutch version with the rotating steps, since there's still some loose stuff at the nape that needs to be added into the braid. I carried the pattern down a bit past the neck, and then I just ponytailed the rest of the hair. Once you're finished, you can go back in and pancake it out so that it'll look bigger. This braid loves pancaking and it takes it really well, so that's definitely a fun plus. Now I'm going to take everything that I've just shown you and put it into my own hair. I'm fast forwarding here, but it's literally all the same steps. I think it's probably obvious now too as to why I crimped my hair beforehand. It just holds better, and since it changes my natural texture, it also allows for a fuller final look. If you don't have a tool like this, you could always use some braid waves or curls, and of course extensions may be something you could resort to as well. When I was finished, I wrapped a piece of suede around my elastic a few times and tied a knot, and with that last detail, I was finished. All that's left is the amazing Antiope crown, which I so wish I had had before filming, but I've since ordered a really cute one from superherostuff.com, and I'm seriously contemplating cosplaying her for Comic-Con this October. All I need now is the courage to wear such a revealing costume. Anyway, I hope you guys liked my video today, and if you did, please throw me a thumbs up or leave a comment. It helps me so much when you do, and I love hearing from you. Until next time, have fun and keep braiding. Bye!